you don't have to have a perfectly organized room that is like color coordinated and has amazing decorations in order to effectively homeschool, because I feel like we did a pretty good job this year, even with it being as slightly disastrous as it was. Hi, welcome to my room tour. So I have already started unpacking and taking stuff down from this past year, but I thought I would give you a glimpse into how I set up our playroom as our homeschool for our first year. And then give you some ideas. I'm hoping to make some updates, and so I will do a renewed room tour once I get those done, if I can convince my husband that all of these things need to be done. But let's go ahead and start looking at what I did with our room this year. Okay, so I'm here to just show you how incredibly not fancy your homeschool room can be and have you be completely successful. So our room is a little different than when we started the year. Originally, this was a black futon that died not too long after spending so much time down here, and then my parents were getting rid of this couch, so we got a new couch down here for the last like 2 months of school. We have our wall calendars that we just happened to have. My husband had bought them at some random like garage sale a long time ago and thought we should have maps in our house, so those came in handy. These are literally the only decorations I really had. I did have some stuff above the window at the beginning of the school year, but not anymore. So I did have some more artwork up here that my boys had done, just a couple things about the Statue of Liberty, not much. There's our entrance door. This is my son's bedroom, and our piano is in there currently. We may start lessons up again. He stopped lessons during the pandemic, but if we start him up again, we'll keep it. If not, we will be getting rid of that. This wall over here originally was just full of math tests. My son we called them wall-worthy scores. Anytime he got above an 80 on a math test, we got to put it up. He just needed a little motivation, and that seemed to really help him. This was my preschooler's wall, and I would put his artwork up there. So coming back, we also had, and it's all falling down because, like I said, I've started undoing for the year, but we had our dinosaur poster that we created. This wall we completely had covered with artwork and science experiments, but I'm hoping this next year to right here to put 3 or so, possibly 4 floating shelves to put picture books, along with here smaller ones, because my son will be in kindergarten. I want to encourage him to look at them. Over here, so this room doubles as our playroom, so that's our stash of dress-up clothes, Pokemon. So luckily my kids don't seem to get too distracted with toys during the school day. They seem to know like when it's school. So we have our whiteboard. This is where we live. These command strips were for some smaller whiteboards that died before the end of the year. The like edges came off, so we're gonna need to replace those. But we used these small whiteboards all the time for them to do spelling work on and to do math work on. My son found he preferred to do his math work in dry erase than in pencil and paper. So I worked with him on that. This is our lovely utility closet thing, but I covered that with artwork during the year. This mess that needs to be fixed is where, so we always had watches, stopwatches for their timed math things. These are markers that my toddler could use, and then our dry erase markers were over here. This was I don't know what's in it now. We did have some math manipulators in there, but not too many. And then there's just our play area so that the toddler has plenty to do. Our TV area with our, that's right, our old school Nintendo. They love to play Street Fighter. That is their favorite. So these are my husband's stuff. Not much else to say over there. Originally, we did not have these 2 chairs. We had a coffee table pushed up. The only one that used the coffee table was the preschooler. This chair, I'm not sure where it was originally. I think we had it over in the corner, but we had to move it once we got the couch, and then this chair matches the couch, and now we just have 2 chairs collecting junk. So I don't know what we're gonna do there. And up top here, I plan to put, I have some posters for my kindergartner to help him with his like long and short vowel sounds. This was our command center. So I had my basket. This was filled with pens and pencils. As you can see, this has not been cleaned out. Index cards, extra markers. I don't even know what's down there. It's a mess now. This area was usually cleared off. It's got some church stuff on it right now, but we kept our pencil sharpener here, which don't know where that is. Our paper hub and our dictionary. My son's pastels. This was all our construction paper and extra lined paper, some extra whiteboards. This is our recycling bin. My handsome boy. This was where I kept mostly extra just little workbooks. This is what my son used at the end of the school year. Their little workbooks where I kept track of their work and the books they were reading, and a whole bunch of preschool workbooks that I was using with my son. So that's what that was. And then this does not currently have it because my cousin has it, but they're binders. They each had a binder that I kept their information in for the year. And then my preschooler's preschool notebook was in here. This is his certificate of completion that he graduated to kindergarten. So cute. And my son's science and history journal. We didn't really use a lot. Oh, and my more preschool work. So this area was definitely our main hub. We spent a lot of time here digging stuff out. And then here is where I keep most of my preschool supplies. It has broken. See, not everyone out there is picture perfect. That is me. Most of my stuff is broken, but I figure it works. If I get a new one, great, but chances are I'll just fix that. I'll make my husband fix it. Anyways, so we have all of his stuff that he can use for kindergarten and preschool just kind of buried in here. Pretty much if it's buried in here, or if it's in here, it's stuff that I am kind of currently using. This is old curriculum. And we have our desk that you can see gets used so well. We used the desk for like the first maybe month of school, and after that we moved on to my kids doing work on the couches and at the table and on their beds, and we don't use it much. So I'm actually hoping to get rid of the desk and put in bookshelves, because you will see we have a book problem, nowhere to store it. Personal files and junk, my Silhouette machine that hasn't been used since I started homeschooling because I don't have time. Our eco tank, which is definitely one of the best purchases we ever made before we homeschooled. And our globe, which again my husband had randomly bought at a garage sale saying every home should have a globe. So there you go. And then we have my giant bookshelf that I love, and I wish I had another. We have 3 of these, but the other 2 are currently being used. But we've got our games up top. We've got random VHSs that we are unwilling to get rid of. Math counters. These are all card games, I think. Yes, those are all card games. We've got our markers, some more games, checkers. Up here we've got more school type games. We've got memory, tangrams, geoboards, brain quest, math cube sticks, and time. So more of our math manipulatives. Should find places for this. These are the DVDs. So we had 3 rows of DVDs, and so I took most of them and put them in a box because we have Disney Plus and Netflix. So if I could find them on there, I put them in a box. We still sometimes dig those out. These are all the ones that I could not find on that, but I wanted to keep anyways. Then next we have more games. These were more just puzzles, things like Boggle, like stuff we could use for school, jigsaw puzzles. Monopoly should not be down here, it should be up higher, but these are school games. And then we get into our books. So down here are curriculum books we're planning to use for this next year, along with some of our encyclopedias and then our readers. And you might say, look, no, she does not have a book problem. But then we go into my son's bedroom, and he has got his shelf completely full of his chapter books, along with he literally sleeps with books all over his bed because he has nowhere else to put them. They cover his nightstand, so it would be nice to have places to put them. Continuing with our book problem, we have all of these books that are in my two middle sons' room that they share. So these are the chapter books for my 8-year-old. The picture books down here, this is about a third of our picture books. The baby's room has picture books, and I'll show you where I keep our other picture books. This is actually under my oldest son's bed, and this is where I put a bunch of picture books. My goal was to keep about half of them out in the hopes that maybe it would encourage them to read them more if there were less. But it's not really working. It's just, whoa. It's just such a mess up there. They can't get themselves to even, they don't even want to pick them up. Which is why I want floating shelves to put a bunch of these on and encourage them to read. And none of this even touches my books that are in my bedroom and in my baby's room at the top of her bookshelf. So yeah. As you can see, I am not the most organized person in the world. You don't have to have a perfectly organized room that is like color coordinated and has amazing decorations in order to effectively homeschool, because I feel like we did a pretty good job this year, even with it being as slightly disastrous as it was. So I'm hoping to make some changes that will help a little bit with organization, but I know going into it that I can still be successful. So if you see all of those amazing, awesome room tours out there and you think, gosh, I can never have my room look like that, I just am not that organized. Like I hardly have any pictures up on my wall in my whole house because it stresses me out. I don't know how to make it look nice. That's just not my thing, and it's very low on my priority list. So because of that, I just have learned not to stress about it, and I've learned that I can still, everything will be a-okay even if it kind of looks like a bomb went off in my house all the time. As for the book problem, I'm really hoping to get that under control because I love to buy books and I love to have them around. So in order to keep doing that, I have got to find somewhere to go. So hopefully getting some floating shelves, hopefully getting a second bookcase to replace the desk that we don't use will help. But if you have any suggestions, that would be great. I would love to hear them. Or what have you done with what you just had? Because I did not go out and buy anything. Like I said, the few really school type things that we had happened to just be laying around our house. And so it was great and we used it. And I would have probably gone out and gotten at least a wall calendar, or not calendar, wall, I said calendar earlier, a wall map, because that is something we used. But the globe was really nice to have, but I probably wouldn't have spent money on it. We tend to be pretty thrifty in our home. What else? I think that's about it. Let me know what you have done with what you just already had around your house. And let me know how I can improve mine other than get a new house, which I would love to do. But that's not happening.